What if there was a letter that could change the way you see the world? A letter written in secret, by one of the most influential figures on earth. Just before his death, Pope Francis, known for his wisdom and compassion, left behind a final message, one that no one expected. What did he write, and why is it shaking the world to its core? Watch to find out. The last letter, Pope Francis's final message of boundless love to humanity. A whisper before the silence. They said it was just a rumor, a letter, handwritten by Pope Francis in his final days. Not official, not even public, but real, tucked away in the private quarters of the Vatican. It was meant not for world leaders, nor for bishops or clergy. It was for us, for all of us. The message, now confirmed and released posthumously, is nothing short of breathtaking. Not because it tells us something new, but because it reminds us of what we've long forgotten. It calls us back to the simplest and most powerful truth: love. Pope Francis, a man known for his humility, warmth, and unapologetic advocacy for the poor and the marginalized, left behind a final gift to humanity. A message that transcends religion, politics, race, and geography. A love letter to the world. He begins, in shaky handwriting, "If my voice is to fall silent, may love speak louder." He goes on to say that as he neared the end of his earthly journey, he found his thoughts returning not to doctrine or debates, but to people, faces of children in war zones, hands of the elderly left alone, the cries of the forgotten, the silenced, the overlooked, and he asked himself a haunting question. Have we, in our quest to be right, forgotten how to be kind? This letter, this final sermon in ink, was a plea, an invitation, and for Americans, a call that resonates at a deeply human level. We are a nation built on ideals, yet fractured by fear. We have so much, yet we often feel so divided. Pope Francis saw this, not just in America, but around the globe, and still, he believed in us, believed in our capacity to choose love over fear, unity over division, hope over hate. In this first part of the letter, he spoke of our shared humanity. The color of our skin is not a threat. The faith we follow is not a barrier. The borders we draw do not make us enemies. We are one family, or we are nothing at all. Part 1 of his message closes with a gentle challenge. To love without agenda, to see without judgment, to serve without reward, not because it is easy, but because it is what makes us truly human. Blank, underscore, blank. In the second part of Pope Francis's letter, his words take on a more intimate tone, almost like a father speaking directly to each of his children. He writes, "Do you remember what it felt like to be kind without needing a reason? To hold a stranger's hand in silence and somehow feel healed?" He laments that we have traded compassion for convenience, and connection for comfort. In the digital age, we are more linked than ever, yet we feel more alone. The Pope, in his wisdom, doesn't condemn technology, he simply warns against letting it replace true human touch. He calls on Americans in particular, recognizing the nation's unique role in the world. He acknowledges the diversity, the innovation, the resilience, but he also gently critiques the rising tide of indifference. In a land so full of opportunity, why do so many still feel unseen? In a country so rich with words, why do so many still go unheard? Francis urges us to become fluent again in the forgotten language of compassion. To listen, to forgive, to show up. He tells the story of a mother in Detroit who lost her son to gang violence, and a former rival gang member who now sits beside her every Sunday in church. Not because he has all the answers, but because he has chosen to be present. Healing begins not with solutions, but with solidarity. He challenges us to stop waiting for perfect leaders or perfect timing. We are the light the world is waiting for. He calls on teachers, nurses, truck drivers, artists, and farmers. He calls on the broken-hearted, the anxious, the tired. Love, he says, does not require credentials. This part ends with a powerful reminder. Love is not soft, it is the strongest force we possess. It rebuilds what hate has torn. It resurrects what fear has buried. Blank, underscore, blank. The dream of a unified humanity. Here, Pope Francis becomes poetic, almost prophetic. His words are both gentle and bold. He envisions a world where enemies share meals, where leaders sit at the same table as laborers, where children teach adults how to wonder again. If we could see the soul instead of the skin, how different our world would look. He dreams of neighborhoods where neighbors actually know each other, of prisons transformed into schools, of cities filled not just with wealth, but with welcome. This section feels like a manifesto of the heart, a dream of what could be. If only we chose love. We are not destined for division. We are built for belonging. He talks about America's spirit, its yearning for justice, its deep-rooted faith traditions, its courage to confront its past. And he reminds us that our history is not our prison. It is our foundation, from civil rights to immigrant stories, from acts of rebellion to movements of reform. We are a people in constant transformation. You do not need to be perfect to begin. You only need to be willing. He speaks to young people, calling them torchbearers. He urges the elderly not to give up their voice. He calls for bridges, not walls, and in a line that has already been quoted around the world. He writes, "Let love be louder than our opinions. Let unity be stronger than our pride." Blank, underscore, blank. In his final words, Pope Francis offers not a farewell, but a benediction, a blessing. He acknowledges the darkness, he names the suffering, but he refuses to let despair have the final word. Even the longest night ends in dawn. Even the most hardened heart can still be softened. He pleads with us to believe again, not just in God, but in one another, in the goodness that still exists, quietly, stubbornly, in the corners of everyday life. To the man who feeds stray cats, to the girl who visits her grandma every Sunday, to the nurse who holds a stranger's hand until the very last breath, you are the revolution. His last paragraph is barely legible, but unmistakably his. I go in peace, not because the world is perfect, but because I believe love will have the last word. And so, the letter ends, not with thunder, but with a whisper strong enough to wake a world asleep in indifference, a whisper that still speaks, if we are willing to listen. If this powerful message of love and unity touched your heart, be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and share your thoughts on Pope Francis's final words. We'd love to hear your reactions and reflections. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories that inspire, challenge, and unite us all. Together, we can make the world a kinder, more compassionate place.